Welcome to Couch Conversations, the space where real talk meets God talk.
We're two best friends who love Jesus, deep convos, and a whole lot of laughs.
From relationships and faith to the messy middle of adulting, we're chatting about it all right here on the couch.
So grab your snacks, get cozy, and let's get into it. This is Couch Conversations.
Hey y'all, I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Deja.
And welcome to the first episode of Couch Conversations,
a space where we talk about faith, life, love, and everything in between.
So let's talk about it. So Deja, what's good? What's tea?
Girl, the tea is we finally starting back again.
Finally.
Y'all probably remember us as being the honey doses. What was it?
A real dose of honey.
A real dose of honey back in our COVID days.
Mm-hmm.
And we always talked about doing this podcast again. And
we finally here.
We finally
here.
But I think it's important to talk about how we got here.
Yeah. So you want to start us off?
So we're actually from the same area.
We 843 PD.
And we met at the College of Charleston, Go Cougars. And we did this summer program called Spectra, where you go before classes start. Basically, it's for minority students to get acquainted with the campus and, get to know people that look like you on the campus. And we were actually suite mates.
Yep.
And I was mingling with everybody. And the crazy thing is we stayed together. How long was the program? 6 days?
It was like 6 weeks. Like she said, we were suite mates. We never said a word to each other until like the last 2 weeks of the program.
Yeah.
When she came up to me and another girl and was like, "Can I hang with y'all?" We was like, "Sure." Yeah. So since then, everything's been history.
Yeah, well, almost 11 years later. 11 years later.
So we're here and we're ready to do this thing. So let's see. How have you been lately?
I've been good. Things are calming down for me a little bit in school, getting degreed.
Yes.
Again.
Yes.
Wedding planning. And that's about it. What about you, sis?
I would say life has been pretty good. Of course, life be lifing sometimes.
Of course.
But it has been pretty good, just following the plan that is laid out for me and just going with the flow.
Mm-hmm. So I know yesterday we actually had a conversation about following the plan. And you said something that really it was like a ooh. How did you say that thing?
I think what I said was that God has his plan for us. He has the plan and he has the map. But it is up to us to follow those instructions and those directions.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to do that. But, little things and little messages he gives us to let us know, look, I'm giving you a little peek into what I have been, but you just got to follow what I say. But it gets a little hard, especially when it's it seems like everything goes wrong. Nothing goes like how you plan for it to go. And it's okay, I'm supposed to have faith, but it doesn't seem like my faith is enough.
So maybe we should just give them a little background, not too much of it, of how we got started on that conversation. So there's been plenty of times where we've talked about God's plan, but yesterday just kind of, as far as us together, it kind of solidified we are living out his plan, not our plan, not what we thought we wanted for ourselves, but for his plan. So we have another page on TikTok called The Foodie Tour. So make sure you go follow us. Like some videos where we just post about restaurants that we try throughout the Charlotte area, events, festivals, and even if we travel somewhere else, we'll post things about those activities. And so we've had that page since February of 22. So a little over 3 years. And we just feel like we're not as far as numbers show, we're not where we think we should be or could be. And that could partly be due to what we're doing, what we haven't done. But maybe like a little over a month ago, we had a bestie date because we try to do at least one of those once a month. And we ended up going to a restaurant in Uptown Charlotte. And then next door, they were doing the Charlotte Streets Festival. And we was like, let's see what they have out here. Although we had just ate, big bag. So we went to look for more food. So we passed by this tent and they had desserts. So we was like, let's see what they have. Stopped by the tent, and Deja was like, we have a food review page, and do you mind if we get content or anything like that? And it was like, yeah, sure. They were so welcoming of it. They were very sweet, very nice. And they allowed Deja to record while they prepare our food or our dessert. And they even like did a couple of takes to make sure we got the shot and the angles. So they told us that they would be having like a physical location because they were just doing like pop-ups in different locations throughout Charlotte. And they was like, just join our mailing list and we'll let you know. And we'll also follow your TikTok page. And they told us that initially it would be at like the beginning of May. So beginning of May came. Haven't heard anything. Crickets, like dead. And so we're thinking, oh, maybe they forgot about us or something. So maybe like May, mid to late-ish May, Deja receives a message and we receive the invite to come out to their Creators Day for their prior to their soft and grand opening. And to just think about, this is our first time being invited to something like this, and being a part of something to this caliber, where we just been doubting our pace, being like discouraged, and just wanted to give up because it's just like, why we not popping like the other ones out here? Why we can't be like them? What are we doing, or what are we not doing to where we can't be like them?
And one thing, and a lot of people will be like, comparison is the thief of joy. But it's so hard not to compare when it's like you're doing all the things that you think that people who have been successful at it do. And it's like, you're not getting no motion from it for real. And it's like, what is it about me that I can't be on this level? And people will be a liar to say like they never had those times where they have compared their lives to others, because we're humans. Like if we see somebody who has like what we want, we're like often like, okay, what did they do to get what I want? But you sent me a TikTok where the guy was like, I look, how he say that thing?
He was like, oh gosh, he said something about comparison, but he also said that he said something about the devil.
Basically, he was like, I'm looking at everybody else and seeing how God blessed them, not realizing that the devil gives blessings.
Yes, that's what he said. And when I said, I was like, oh, I replayed that thing at least 6 times. So I was like, wait a minute.
Real well.
Wait a minute. He did his big one with that one. But just thinking about where we were yesterday for those 3 hours and being able to just interact with the owners of the location, which we will be posting on our foodie review page soon. But just being able to interact with them and then interact with other Charlotte creators and being in that space where we weren't at that table or in that space before. So it's being able to do that. It was just like wow, like God, you really like hear us. Like you had this all planned out for us, but we was trying to move on our own time and just worry about our own plans versus just trusting in your timing and your plans. So after the event, that's when we were just like in the parking lot, literally after it poured down raining and like the sky was blue, the birds were chirping, the sun was out again, and we were just like reflecting on those past 3 hours and the past 3 years of having our foodie tour page and how we are able to be in that space now and possibly where it can take us. Right. Because even one of the creators was like,
and he's a big
creator, well known in Charlotte. He was just like, what y'all doing is really good. Keep doing it. I'll even put y'all in contact with people or put y'all in different spaces. And we were just like, us?
And one thing we always say, we be like little us, but then I told Kelsey yesterday, we have to realize it's not little us when God is working in your life. It's big us because it's big God, and we should never sell ourselves short. And yeah, we say it in a joking manner, but words have power, and we have to be mindful of the things that we say because we start believing, a lot of those things. So I feel like yesterday really shined a light, on just our situation and things. And like we said, it took a little piece of cheesecake. A little piece of cheesecake to get the message through. And it's crazy how God works sometimes because we be expecting him to answer our questions in a big grand old fashion or a standard fashion of how we want to, but it's the little things that he does in an unexpected way to show us like, it's me telling you this. It's not your own doing, it's me. So I don't know, that just shed a lot of light on us yesterday. Like it really like had it, and like some people may think it's not a big deal or something small, but like you have to know the background of some things of seeing like why certain things mean certain, certain things to certain people and stuff like that. Because people probably would have been like, y'all doing
the most, y'all exaggerating, like what are you talking about?
But the background stuff is just like, nah, that was loud and clear. Loud and clear.
And I think it would also not, in addition to people having an understanding of like the background and why we may have reacted the way that we did, is also just having that relationship and understanding with God and that faith to understand like he gives you the blueprint and the plans and the map, but we always worry about, I need to have it right then, right now, or I need to have it by this time, when that may not be his plans. And so we constantly rushing and trying to get to where we're trying to get to. And he's like, hold on now, I got you, but you don't want to wait. I'm trying to get you there. There's some steps that I may have to take you through in order for you to get there, but you just trying to rush my plan. So since you want to move on your own time, I'm gonna let you move on your own time, and I'm gonna see how you get
every
there.
time. And sometimes we have to realize that God does stuff on his own timing because we may think we're ready for something, but we're not ready. And so when we finally get it, then we realize like, oh, if I would have got it when I wanted it, I wouldn't have done right by it, and I would have messed it up. So sometimes he hinders stuff for our good, like in the end, and it's hard to accept it in a moment because like we humans, if I want something, I want it right then and there. Like I ain't trying to wait or nothing. But I feel like even in my personal life, I feel like right now God is teaching me patience. And it's the hardest thing for me. Like when I tell you it's difficult, it is difficult, especially when you want something so bad and you have like, they always say God doesn't give you visions of things or desires if he's not willing to give it to you or if it's not for you. But it's like, dang, when can I get it?
Right.
What am I doing? Or whatnot. So like when we say these things, it's not like, we perfect and we live by it, because we struggle real bad, especially I would say, being babies in our faith walk. And I feel like we both can say like we're really trying to get serious about our walk with God. And it's so taboo now, like for our age group. Or the other thing, it'd be like people do it as a trend. And I'm not trying to be on the trend, like, with God and stuff like that. But this walk get
it's a little rough. It's a little shaky.
A little shaky.
But just going back to like being in that season of God teaching you patience, because like I was watching this show and this woman said that she doesn't practice any type of faith, and she made a comment about how she, I guess, feels that some people may practice Christianity or believe in God because they experience something. So that's what causes them to build that relationship. And I mean, two things can be true at the same time. That may be true for some people, but just also just having that relationship with him because you just know. Like, you don't necessarily have to experience something to just have that relationship with him and to walk with him. But going back to like that season of patience, because you may be waiting for a little minute before you actually get what you want, or what he thinks you not thinks what he know that you should have.
Right.
Because we may think that we should have something specific when he has a completely different idea of what we should have.
And it's better.
Yes. And something that my mom always told me, or something that she always told me, is that everyone doesn't open their gift at the same time. So just imagine like Christmas time, everyone is sitting around Christmas tree or whatever, opening gifts. You may open your gifts at 6 a.m. I may not open mine until 9 a.m. So understanding that everyone doesn't open their gifts at the same time, everyone doesn't experience things at the same time. And what the steps that they took to get to something, you may not take those same steps. You may have to take detours. There may be delays. There
bumps in the road.
You may just stop completely and start focusing on something else and then come back to that. So I would definitely say patience. Yeah. And I think it's also a way of him testing your faith to see how strong in your faith you are and how you're able to continue to believe like it's going to happen, and having that trust, like, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Right.
And not questioning when it's going to happen.
When it's going to happen. Yeah. That's good. That's real good. But that waiting season,
it had me ready to crash out because it's just like, how long I gotta wait?
How long?
How long?
Because the clock is ticking. But who clock? My clock or God clock? Ooh.
Like, where I'm trying to go? Where am I trying to go?
What you trying to do? But I don't know. I'm just excited to see where life takes us, and you know, all of our ventures, both together and personally, and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. This walk is something. It's not easy.
It's not.
It really isn't. And
trials and tribulations.
Right. It's a constant. I don't want to say a constant battle, but it's a constant choice to want to continue on to it, because God gives us the free will to do whatever we want. So we can choose to follow or not to follow. And I think a lot of people think like when it comes to your faith and walking with God, like you have to be perfect. Like you have to stop everything cold turkey and you just have to transform into like this whole different person that is just like a whole 180. But that's the easiest way for you to fall back into like your old ways. It takes little steps, but like I said, it takes you making that commitment and those choices every day and be like, all right, it's a little hard. You testing me a whole lot, but I'm gonna try.
But I'm up for the challenge.
Because like it's like, you know, he asks us to do these little things that sometimes seem big, you know. But like, just think about what he did for us that I know for a fact I wouldn't do for nobody. I wouldn't do, because he took a lot. He took a lot. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I read my Bible every day. I'm not saying I go to church every Sunday. But I do try to improve
and actively practice.
And that comes with, you know, making small little changes. Like I don't always listen to trap music all the time like I used to. Like I'm quick. Like I used to be quick to put on some Glow, some Meg, some Cardi, some Dolph, R.P. Dolph, something like that. But like now, the first thing I be popping on a little gospel music, because it's like what you intake is like what you unconsciously start to become and do. So I try to take in more godly things and more positive things and podcasts and things like that, just to start helping me like in my journey. My journey.
Yeah, I would agree. Just taking things and allowing it to shift and help in building that relationship. Like you said, we're not perfect. He doesn't expect us to be perfect at all. He wants us to come as we are, no matter how ugly, beaten up, bruised, or anything we may be or may look. He wants us to come as we are and to continue walking and building that relationship with him. And we always ask him to like order our steps. But are we willing to follow those steps? Because it's never going to be a perfect road, walkway, path, or whatever. There may be some steps missing. There may be some broken pieces. There may be some pebbles. You may do a little stumble. Your knees may buckle a little bit. You might even trip or fall over. But as long as you continue to keep that faith in God and trust that he will pick you back up, and you all will like continue on that walk and that journey to whatever it is you're trying to get to, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. And it takes a lot to get to that point.
A whole lot.
Yes, a whole lot. It takes a lot to get to that point and believing in that and trusting in that process. Because like I'll take myself for an example. So in 2020, so COVID, graduated from UNC Charlotte with my master's. And I had this whole plan before I graduated. I was like, ooh, I'm applying for jobs starting like spring semester, just to go ahead and have something already set in stone by the time I walk out. That way I can start making some big girl money. Okay. So COVID comes like early March. We had literally just went to, I think, a Wild 'N Out show the night before.
We did.
And hold on, let me back up. So I went to class, and one of my professors was like, we're gonna practice having class virtually in case we have to go on lockdown. And we had just came back from spring break. So I think that was like March 6th or something. We had just went to a Wild 'N Out concert, and then March 7th, that's when they announced the US is on shutdown. And I was just like, ooh, what does this mean? Like, I've taken virtual classes before, but it was planned when I took those, but having to switch from in-person class to now virtually for like the next 2 months, give or take. So graduation comes around, and I graduated, whatever, woo. The work is done. But now it's time to apply for jobs. And I'm applying. Places are, they're shifting the type of jobs that they're offering because now they have to focus on COVID stuff, like case management and contact tracing and all that. Or they're getting rid of positions or switching from in-person work to remotely working. So I'm applying. A month goes by, not hearing anything or a rejection letter. So we're sorry. We appreciate your application, but we have decided to move forward with other
candidates.
Right. And I'm just like, okay. So right. And so month 2 comes by. I was like, okay, what is going on? I'm not getting anything. Like, I know I have the education. I have somewhat of the experience, but it's just like, how can I get the experience if you don't hire me? But okay, I get it. Sure.
Make it make sense.
Right. So I'm just like, okay. So it really starts hitting me because now we're getting into like the month of July, I want to say, and nothing is happening. So I'm really starting to get in like this deep slump. And I'm just like, okay, let me take a seat, regroup, figure out where I want to go in life. Like, because now with how the world is shifting, I need to shift my goals and what I'm trying to do. And that's hard because you had this plan set out and now you have to basically rewrite it because everything has just shifted. And so August comes, I apply for a job at UNC Charlotte. I get it. Well, hold on. I applied for a job because as a contact tracer, and they had a case manager, a case management position. I applied for the contact tracer position because I was doubting my potential. So I applied for it. And once I interviewed, I emailed everyone to thank them for their time and their consideration. I look forward to receiving a response. One of the ladies replies and she was like, "Why didn't you apply for the case management position?" And I was like, "Well, I feel like I'm working one job, the tutoring job.
Right.
And I just feel like I, wouldn't qualify for it." And she's like, "Well, you're well overqualified." I was like, "Oh, well, I'll consider it." So I tell her that I would like to be considered for the case management position. And within that same day or maybe the next day, I get an email saying that I was being offered the case manager position.
Right.
They didn't even interview for it. But for someone to just recognize my potential when I was doubting myself, it's crazy. So then fast forward to 2022, that job ends because it's grant funded, of course.
Yeah.
A lot of funding for COVID money, it goes away. Although COVID hadn't gone away, but I digress.
She's still here.
Okay.
New strains and everything.
Loud and proud.
Okay.
So 2022 comes and it's time to apply for jobs again. So that job ended in May. And I'm like, I'm back in this predicament again. So things like more positions are starting to become open and everything like that. And so I'm applying rejection after rejection. I'm just like, well, now I have more experience. What's going on? Is it me or is it y'all? So I'm like, okay, what can I do to at least get somebody to at least offer me an interview?
Right.
So I was like, well, let me look at my resume. I revamped my resume. Calls started coming in. Then I was like, okay, so it was me. It was actually me. So calls started coming in. And by that time, since I've known like, okay, I've been in this predicament before already, let's have a little bit more faith in the process and understanding that maybe the job that's meant for you isn't out there yet. Maybe somebody's still in the position, they haven't left the job yet, or anything of that nature, or maybe the position hasn't opened yet.
Right.
So,
or it ain't been created yet.
Right. So, started a job in September of 22. That job was grant funded. You gotta love public health. All these grant funded positions, especially now with what's going on with public health. But yeah, that's another story.
It's even more discouraging.
Makes me kind of glad I'm not in public health space right now. I love public health real bad, but I digress. Then 24 comes because the grant funded position, and this time I feel better about going through the process again because my faith was stronger in knowing like there's something out there for me. When it's meant for me to have it, I would have it. What's meant for me would be for me. If he brought me to it, he'll bring me through it. Exactly. And that was my motto that kept me going because it's easy to fall in like that funk or just become unmotivated or discouraged or just always wondering and questioning why.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, that's the season I'm in right now. As you know, trying to transition. And you just not getting too deep into my personal, but just me trying to get in that transition mode, and when you knowing that you want something and you feel like you have the qualities and qualifications, you get the constant rejections, and it's hard being rejected. Nobody likes to be rejected in any aspect, like whether it's relationships, job, or anything. And then you start wondering, like, dang, am I good enough? Like, am I like
Mhm.
overhyping myself? Like, what is like? I think I'm that person that can get it done, but then you get the no's. And I try to remember that it's not a no, it's a not yet. But it's
Yep.
hard when like you know you want something right now and you know what it's gonna do for you.
Mhm.
And it's like it feels like it's so close but so far away
Mhm.
at the same time. And I guess that's where your faith comes into play, and that really tests your faith and really kind of determine if you really have faith, because it's easy to have faith when things are going good and it's
Mhm.
you're getting everything that you want, but the test is really when nothing seems like the pieces is coming together like at all. Like I will go back, let's say, think it was COVID, a little bit before COVID. I feel like those couple of years were really my worst
Mhm.
years. I felt like anything that could happen to me
You was being tested left and right.
happened to me. Like
Mm.
I was in a relationship that was emotionally, mentally, and eventually physically abusive.
Mhm.
I lost a child.
Mhm.
I lost my home.
Mhm.
I lost my car. And I literally was like, yo, God, like I really like was
What's
like,
up?
yo,
What's going on?
bruh,
Like you got beef with
what did I do? Okay, did I live another life that I'm like getting payback for? Like
me?
I never was like the type of, not saying I wanted to do something for myself,
Mhm.
but I was at the point of like, yo, y'all can have this. Like I'm done. Like I'm through, because it seemed like I said, everything that could happen happened to me. When COVID came, lost my jobs. You know, I said jobs because I had about 3 jobs. Like
Uh-huh.
my situation just caused for me to do it, because I was always a person that by any means necessary, it's gonna get done.
Mhm.
But lost my jobs, everything. Like I felt like when I lost the jobs when COVID came around, I had just got back on my feet as far as like my place, because I lost my stuff like from an apartment fire, or whatnot. And when I got my apartment, I ain't had nothing in there. It was like Will on the last episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, just in there. Like all I had was a folding chair, but I was happy because
Uh-huh.
I had a roof.
Yeah, got a roof over
I
your
had a
head.
roof for what, and I was like, yo, like I got someplace to stay. Like
Mhm.
that's cool, because I was without a place for like what, a week or two.
Mhm.
Yeah, like a week or two. Only thing I had was the clothes on my back and what I had packed, because I went home to South Carolina or whatnot. And to wake up like early in the morning to your leasing manager like panicking because she thinking you dead. Like she thought I was in there, and I'm like confused. Like, girl, why you calling my phone?
Right.
And so she literally was like, "Oh my gosh, Deja, I'm so glad you answered." I thought, and I was like,
What you mean?
"What you mean? Like,
Mhm.
what's wrong?" And she was like, "Oh, baby, it was a fire." And so, first of all, it's early, so I'm like, okay. And so I'm like halfway asleep. I'm like, she said it was a fire. I said, Mom. She said my apartment burned down. So
Mhm.
I called her back and I was like, how bad is it? And she was like, I know you think it's bad, but it's worse than what you think it is.
Ooh. What
I
you mean
said,
is worse?
I said,
A fire is already bad in itself.
she was like, just prepare yourself. And I was like, ugh. At that time, we was like going through stuff with my grandmother. That's
Mhm.
when, before she got her diagnosis with dementia, we were just trying to figure out what was going on with her. So dealing with that, yep, I had just got out that relationship and all the stuff that was going on, or whatnot. And I get there, we had to be escorted, so that's how you know it was bad. Get to my door, it's just wood that they done boarded up the door. She opened the door and all I could do was cry because all my hard work, everything that I put into being on my own was gone just like that. That's why it's so important not to put so much emphasis on materialistic things, because you can lose it in a blink of an eye.
As fast as you got it, as quick as it can go.
As quick as you can go. And I was like, yo, like after all that happened, losing my house, not my house, my apartment, a car, and all that stuff, I literally had a breakdown. And I was like, I just don't know, like what? Like I literally was mad at God a little bit. Like, what did I do to you? That's what I said. What did I do to you for you to do all this to me? And I was like, maybe it ain't him. But in that moment, it was him, because it's just like, you know, you got all the power. You can stop things. Why me? But then he's like, why not you? What makes you so big and bad and better than everything? Like, why can't stuff like this happen for you? And that situation really humbled me a whole lot. A whole lot. But now when I think about, like, I was so heartbroken about what I lost. And now what I have far surpasses, like, you know, what I had. And not saying I'm at where I want to be, but
I'm not where I was.
I'm far from where I was. It's so crazy. People look at me now and they be like, you have such a glow to you. You look so much better. And I'm like, so y'all had me walking around looking rough? Like, was I looking that bad? But no, when I look at pictures from that time period,
it is crazy how people can like see a difference in how you look, the way you talk, the way you react to things, like during a certain time period. Then it's like when you overcome that time period, you come out of it and like you start, I guess, changing for the more positive. They notice a difference. I'm just like, well, how did y'all see that? And I didn't see that. And I'm the one living through it.
It's because we get so used to putting those blinders on and saying like it's not as bad as it seems, or being afraid to admit that it is a little shaky, like,
or even like just like getting up and be like, okay, I just gotta get through this day. I just gotta get through it. Let me push through.
Just taking that one little step to get through, because that one little step can lead to so much. Like I said, I'm not where I want to be as far as my final destination, but I am way better. Like, I have a relationship where I love my man. Even though I get on my nerves, but that's mine, and I stick beside him. I have friendships that I love and adore that, you know, is serving me. You know, a lot of times we have friendships that don't serve us and where we are in our life. And I feel like all of my friends are in the space that I am in, you know, walking, especially when it comes to my walk with God. Because it gets hard when you have people around you that's not really on that type of time, because it's so easy for you to get influenced by that stuff, because outside is fun. Like, it's fun sometimes, you know, but I'm not saying walk with God is not fun,
right?
You know, but it's certain things you just you just can't do no more. And I really don't have the desire to do, you know, certain things anymore. But just having those people, being surrounded by people who are like-minded, and stuff that I could, you know, just lean on, who will understand where I am at my walk.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like, because some people be like, oh, I did all this at such and such age, I don't want to do it anymore. And sometimes it could be that, and sometimes it's just the fact of just growing,
yeah,
and just wanting to experience things a little differently, and just understanding like, hey, I'm just not at that stage in my life anymore, and it's okay.
It's okay.
And then also just having people in your circle who are equally yoked. Because you can have anybody in your circle, and Pam, Tammy, and whoever else can like just be the worst influence on your life.
Right.
Or like you said, like you could be constantly serving them and they're constantly taking. But it's like, where are you reciprocating in this relationship? Because
Right.
friendships are relationships as well. So it's just like, what are you doing? It's not always like, okay, what have you done for me lately?
Right.
But, or, okay, I did this for you, I expect you to do something back for me.
Right.
But I can't always be the one serving you.
And I ain't getting it.
Right. And I can't even come to you for a little bag of sugar.
Right. Right. And that's, I think a lot of people don't realize that when it comes to friendships, people don't give friendships the attention that it needs. I feel like a friendship should get the same attention that a relationship does. It may not be as intimate or stuff like that, but your friends, there are certain things that you may not be able to talk to your significant other about that you need your friends for, or things that your significant other may not understand that your friend will be able to understand. And I could say, like, for our friendship, we've been friends for 11 years and we've both seen each other in different seasons of our lives. Different seasons and the ebbs and flow of just a life. And it's certain things that nobody know but you, that you will only understand. So I feel like you have to nurture those things and not just, even with that, like being able for me to be able to pour into you just like how you pour into me and vice versa, or whatnot, because we can't expect everybody to be everything to us, and we not willing to even give a piece of what we
not
expect,
even the bare minimum,
right, of what we want from somebody else. And we have to realize, like, what we may be okay with, like how we want love to be shown to us and stuff, that may not be how you like to be shown that. So learning each other and being able to give each other what we need as friends and stuff like that, because friend breakups hurt real bad. So,
and that can be something else to talk about, like on another episode, or like friendships and friends breakups.
Yeah,
because like you said, we've seen each other through some stages of life. We've cried together, we've laughed together, we've been mad at each other, basically anything under the sun. Not where it was like a toxic friendship or anything like that. It's like your typical, or what should be, I guess you say, normal in friendships.
Like a sister, like, your sister go get in your nerves sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, whatever.
Right. Yeah. And it's just being thankful that God places those people in your life, because you need a community, you need a village. And I think people also think that a village has to be hundreds of people.
Right.
It could literally just be 2 people, and that could be your village or your community. And just being able to feel safe and brave in those spaces and those communities.
Right.
So
that's where quality over quantity comes into play, for real. Like, I used to think, like, if you have 50 million friends, you good.
Right. Like, you
good.
You a good one.
But then when you see, like, people with all these friends, when something happens,
who can they call on?
Who can they call on? Out of those friends, who can they really call on? And, a lot of things happen to you to put things in perspective for you, like who's important. Because you've been with me through, I feel like, one of my toughest experiences in my life, and you would not leave. She would not leave at all. But just being like, that situation for me really opened up my eyes a whole lot. Some people, I don't got a place to put them, for real. Like, I love you, I do, but I'm good. I'm really good. Like, yeah, for sure.
Because we got
stories to tell. Lord have mercy. I said I'm a boo.
It's just, life is, it has its ups. I mean, it has its downs, but it definitely has its ups. For sure. And
And,
it's just, life is, it has its downs, but it definitely has its ups. I mean, it has its downs, but it definitely has its ups. And just going back to kind of what we said at the beginning, just trusting in his plan, trusting in his timing, being faithful all the time, not just when it's convenient for you. Being thankful for the small blessings, even, and being thankful for the big ones, because we always be thankful for the big ones, but we forget about the small ones.
And we take them for granted.
Yes. And just asking him for guidance when he gives us something. Asking us, okay, when you give me this, give me not the opportunity, but give me what I'm trying to say.
Knowledge?
Not knowledge, but when you give me this, allow me to not mishandle it. Mishandle it. Because he can give you something, you not be prepared for it. And you don't know what to do with it.
You done messed up.
And you was constantly asking him about it, begging him about it.
And now you got
banging out his door for it. And he like here, and now you don't know how to handle it.
Now you just looking. You just, you done messed up. But for sure.
Yeah. So that was good. Yeah, our first episode of Couch Conversations. We really hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next one.